Okay, my name is Rex Evans, Captain with Liberty County Sheriff's Office. The investigation is ongoing out here on County Road 2802. As y'all can see, the SPCA has arrived. They have their spokesperson with them. I'll let her speak to answer any questions y'all may have. Detectives are on their way with warrants and other information that we're going to need to continue processing this scene. You will see some detectives here in a short time that will be geared up in safety equipment and air packs to actually continue this investigation, and that is for their protection and health. This property, in particular the residence, is a very deplorable condition. Our investigation will be ongoing throughout the day. And at this point, I'll turn over to SPCA if y'all have any questions for them in regards to what they're going to do.
Captain, before you step away, can you give us some indication of Mabel Larsen's background as far as criminal
She does have a criminal history, and it does specifically deal with injury to a child. The gentleman who she alleged lived here, and there are indications that he did in fact live here, Aaron Parker, also has a history affiliated with her in regards to injury to a child. The outcome of those cases, I don't know what the outcomes were. It's my understanding they're on probation for those cases. Again, CPS will also be out here shortly, and they will work with the detectives on this investigation.
So the injury to a child is not dealing with the 1-year-old, it's a second child.
That is correct.
Is there any indication another child lives at the house?
Nothing yet. Again, our investigation is still ongoing. When the warrant arrives, we'll be able to go in there and do a much more thorough investigation.
Can you just talk briefly about when you picked up the child with the roaches all over her?
When I picked up the child, there were 2 roaches that were on her legs, and also a roach in her hair. So that was pretty tough. Very difficult.
And she was just lying on the ground in the...
on the floor, living room floor.
And the second child, the child who I imagine is older, do you know where that child is right now?
When CPS arrives, they're going to get with the detectives on that. I myself do not have that information, but that is part of the investigation. They are working on that.
Rex, you were talking about how you've been doing this for more than 20 years. Describe when you were telling me a little earlier that this is the worst you've ever seen inside, correct?
The interior of the house is certainly one of the worst I've seen. It's very rough. Just deplorable conditions is the only way to describe it.
Is Miss Larsen able to explain anything as far as the living conditions?
Miss Larsen was less than cooperative last night, and it's my understanding that she has not changed her position. She is still less than cooperative this morning.
And do we know where Mr. Parker is?
No, actually, Mr. Parker is certainly a person of interest. He is not a suspect at this time, but we would like to talk to him. So if he's watching any of this, or if anybody's notifying him of what's going on, he definitely needs to contact the Liberty County Sheriff's Office. We would like to talk to him.
Did the mother, did she seem apologetic at all for the way she was treating her child? I mean, obviously being uncooperative is one thing, but about her child, did she say anything?
No indication of that, not at the time.
Is she asking about her child?
I have no knowledge of that, no.
Did she claim that Aaron Parker was the father of the child?
She did not indicate one way or the other to that.
Did she claim the child was her own?
Yes, she did.
Can you back up for us, just getting out here? You came to the scene for what reason yesterday? What was the call?
It was an animal cruelty call. The neighbors were concerned in regards to a horse that is down behind the house. That horse is deceased. Again, as far as the animals and things to that effect would be more directed for the SPCA now that they're here. But the animals that we saw, that we witnessed last night, would certainly appear to be in pretty poor condition. And that's why we immediately notified them for their assistance.
And then how did the rest of it come to light?
The adult female, the only adult here, Miss Larsen, indicated that there was a 1-year-old child in the residence based on what we saw on the exterior of the residence. And with her being outside for a lengthy amount of time, we felt it prudent to go inside and check on the welfare of the 1-year-old. And that's when we found her in the very poor condition that we did.
And was there any indication that the child was kept inside of a cage or any enclosure?
There is a wire crate that the child was next to. The child was not in the crate at the time. However, there is a blanket in the crate. Miss Larsen was not cooperative in regards to answering any questions. However, our investigation will certainly look at that aspect, whether or not the child was perhaps contained in the crate at some point.
And the information about Mr. Parker, you received that from her, that he was the child is hers and he is the father?
Nothing indicates that he is the father of this child. She, again, did not indicate that. However, he does live here, or certainly has been here for some length of time. And again, that's why he's a person of interest in this case. We definitely need to speak to him.
Was either one of them the property owner?
I'm
Or
sorry?
either one of them the property owner?
We believe that she is.
What's the age of Miss Larsen?
I don't have that with me right now.
Is there another bed in the home where the child might have slept, like a crib or?
There's so much debris. Actually, I couldn't tell you if there's another bed in there or not.
Is this human debris, animal debris?
Both?
Were there animals inside?
Yes.
What, dogs or what?
I only saw cats on the interior.
Is there any evidence that a cat or a dog had slept inside the cage?
Not that I saw, no.
Would you mind stepping over for us, ma'am?
My first name is Tara, T-A-R-A. My last name is Yurkshat, Y-U-R-K-S-H-A-T.
And your title, ma'am?
I'm the Vice President of Animal Welfare for the SPCA.
Talk about what you're up against this morning.
Well, we're up against, part of what we're up against is we don't know completely what we're up against. We understand that there are 2 live horses that are not in great shape, not in good conditions. It's our understanding that there are approximately 10 dogs on the property, 4 of which last night were unresponsive, where everybody else was active and barking and giving some indication of activity. These 4 were not, so we don't really know what that means at this point. We'd like once we're able to get onto the property and get them back to the shelter. At that point, our veterinarians can assess their health. The other challenge is that there are cats involved, and it's our understanding that the cats are indoor-outdoor cats. And so it's better that they're indoors right now. It's easier to catch them when they're inside. So,
I mean, what about your folks who are working with you? I mean, it seems like standing out here, you can smell how bad it is. I can only imagine what it's like inside. That's got to be part of the process of dealing with this. It's hard. It's not like you can go in and come right out.
Absolutely. We have Captain Evans has included additional resources for our staff in order to go into the building safely. And so, certainly that's part of the process is you're going into a place that does not smell good. It's offensive to all of your senses, not just your nasal passages, but once you're in that suit, it's hot. So it's already hot. We're in Texas in August, and you add that element in, and it's, you deplete yourself pretty quickly. So, we always want these situations to be worked as quickly and as efficiently as possible, but when you're hunting down cats in every room, it takes a little bit longer. They don't really announce themselves.
How many cats?
It's our understanding there are approximately 20.
20 cats, at least 10 dogs, and 2 live horses. Does that seem to be the right count for you?
That's the count as we know it at this moment.
How many rooms are there that you've searched?
I have not been in the building. I can't answer that question.
You may have already answered this, but even on a personal level, when you look at the horse and just the dogs that are in the back, what goes through your mind?
I haven't seen the dogs yet. I've not been on the property, but the horses are skinny. I mean, that's what goes through my mind is that animals should be treated. At this point, our society tends to think of companion animals and horses as family members to some degree, and you wouldn't make your family member starve.
What kind of resources would you need just to be able to feed this many animals on a daily basis?
Well, horses are going to be, a single horse is expensive. Just any horse owner can tell you that, especially last year with the drought. The hay prices went up, but it's expensive to keep a horse and to keep a horse healthy and happy. It's not just the food either. It's the additional care. It's the foot care. It's the teeth care. Certainly, then you add in another 10 dogs and 20 cats, and you're talking cat litter as well as just the cat food. It's expensive to own that many animals.
Thank you.
Now the 20 cats are living in the house too?
It's our understanding that they were in the house last night. Now, if there are openings, if there are windows open or whatever, if there's a lot of activity that's going to be going on inside that house, the cats may choose an escape route.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, first of all, what's your name?
Renee Davis.
Renee? Tell me about yesterday, how the whole thing came about.
Me and my granddaughter, about a little before 3, was swimming in our swimming pool in the backyard, and we just noticed this really horrendous smell. So when we got out and got cleaned up and everything, I went in the backyard and looked around the fence and knew that the neighbors had 3 horses. So I looked and saw a mound because I only saw 2 horses, and I thought, well, yeah, that's what the smell is. They had it under there, and I called the sheriff's department probably about 5:21 yesterday afternoon, and
came out and kind of couldn't believe what they found.
I couldn't believe, yes, sir.
What have you ever met the people?
I've met them a couple of times. The times that I've met them, very, very nice people. Never a problem out of them. Offered to help my husband if he needed help with the fence, to move the dogs back while he was building, if he needed to. Never a problem. Didn't see him out a whole lot, but.
What about kind of surprising yesterday with the baby?
It was, because I knew that she was pregnant. I'd seen her, talk to her while she was pregnant, and I didn't know what happened to the baby. I just assumed that she had gotten taken away from her like the other kids before a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. So you hadn't seen her with the baby outside or anything like that at all?
No, sir.
What about him? Is he in and out? Or?
In and out. Like I said, they don't hang around outside a whole lot. Never have. Ever since we moved here, they've never hung around a lot.
Everybody set? Okay, this stage of our investigation is complete. The SPCA has done their part in the investigation as well. Detectives have collected evidence and will be submitting most of that evidence to the lab for further review. Should any further charges be warranted, I'm sure that the District Attorney's Office or the County Attorney's Office here in Liberty County will pursue any charges that they may wish to pursue. But everything has to be presented to those 2 offices respectively by the detectives once they get everything in line that they've picked up here today. At this point, I'll field a few questions, and then the representative from the SPCA will have a briefing in regards to their part of this investigation.
Can you update us on Mabel Larsen and on Aaron Parker?
Mabel Larsen is still in our jail, still facing the felony charge in regards to the animals. However, if there is any charges in regards to the child, that will all have to come later after the detectives process and put together their case and all their evidence and present it to the district attorney.
How soon do you think that'll happen?
I don't have a time frame for that. Hopefully it won't take very long. In regards to Aaron, we still have not heard from him. We would like to speak to Mr. Parker. Again, he is not at this time a suspect, just merely a person of interest that we'd like to talk to and kind of get some information from him if he's willing to cooperate about what was going on here at this house.
Is Parker the biological father of this child?
That still has not been confirmed yet. She's not being very cooperative.
Can you tell us anything about any of the past cases, any of the past children?
Not at this time, because a lot of that information is classified in regards to the fact that it does involve juveniles and ongoing litigation. I do know that both of these individuals were on probation in regards to another case in regards to a juvenile. That's really all the information that I can release about that.
Now, what about Mabel Larsen? What has she said and what has she not said? Earlier you said she was somewhat uncooperative. How would you describe her now?
The same. Still has no level of cooperation really at all.
Is she refusing to answer questions?
Thus far, that is correct.
Well, she was here when you guys entered that home last night.
Last night, yes.
Did she seem like she had any remorse? Were there any feelings about the fact that this house looks the way that it does and that her child was found with roaches?
I didn't observe any behavior like that, no.
What leads you to believe that that child might have been living in that cage?
The child was found right next to the cage, and the blanket that was inside the cage would be a blanket that one would reasonably believe might belong to a child. None of us ever saw the child actually in that crate. But again, it's something that we're going to have to review and process the evidence accordingly, and hopefully that'll give us our answer.
What kind of evidence did you find in the house?
I can't elaborate on that.
Were there drugs found in the house?
There were some narcotics found in the residence.
Can you tell us what kind?
That hasn't been positively identified through the appropriate testing procedures, but there are what we believe to be narcotics and implements to use narcotics.
Were those found right now when you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
So pills, powders, drugs, baggies, weed?
Really can't elaborate. We haven't been able to adequately test it to give an answer. It just, again, it's very indicative of narcotics and the implements to use those narcotics.
Can you describe the condition of this 16-month-old and how how she was found in terms of her physical appearance? And
Physical appearance was she needed changing. She did have some red marks and things to that effect that would be indicative, maybe like some type of bug bites, things to that effect. The paramedics did treat her and check her here at the scene last night, and found that she was okay enough to be released to CPS without having to be transported to a hospital.
So she'd been fed?
I have no way to determine
She
that.
was not
The baby was being
emaciated.
kept in the crate.
We have not been able to verify that.
But is it your theory that she was?
I have no theory. I have to wait for the DNA and facts to come back to substantiate one way or the other.
Can you describe the condition of the house, please?
Just in a word, deplorable. The odor, as many of y'all were able to obviously smell out here, was just as bad inside.
Was this little girl crawling around in feces, urine, all that kind of stuff?
Not in the particular area where I found her, no.
But there were surrounding areas?
The surrounding areas, yes.
And I noticed that she had like 3 roaches on her, one of them in her hair. Is this
There was a small roach in her hair, easily just brushed off. Same with the other 2, just brushed away.
What does that tell you about the conditions that she was living in?
I'm sorry?
What does that indicate to you about the conditions that she was living in?
I think that the conditions were very poor at best. I don't think anybody would want to be in those conditions.
Is this abusive? Is this neglectful? What would you characterize this kind of?
Well, that would be up to the district attorney's office to decide what it's legally going to be. And from our initial part of our investigation, it was just very poor conditions.
Rex, you've been doing this for over 20 years, and in the last couple of months, you've handled a lot of cases as it relates to children either going missing, dying, or stuff like this. How would you categorize this in terms of difficulty, I guess, for you as an investigator?
It's certainly just as difficult. Every case involving a child just breaks your heart. You hate to see it, but it is part of our job, and we do see it. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm going to let the SPCA official come and speak on the animal aspect of our investigation.
Can you tell us your name first?
Sure. First name is Tara, T-A-R-A. Last name is Yurkshat, Y-U-R-K-S-H-A-T. My title is Vice President of Animal Welfare at the Houston SPCA.
What did y'all find in total on this property?
What we're bringing back to the Houston SPCA, we're bringing back 2 horses and 15 dogs, 4 of whom are puppies.
And what about the cats?
Unfortunately, the back door was open all night long, evidently, and so there are no cats that we were able to capture.
But at one point you said that there were like 20 or so living there?
Last night, there was an estimation of 20 cats that were in the house, but today there were no cats in the house.
Describe the conditions that those animals were in and what were they living in?
Because of the condition of the house itself and because of the fact that there were no animals in the house, we did not go in the house. As to the dogs, they were all chained. There were bowls, but there was, in some cases, there was nothing in the bowls. The horses are very skinny. One is injured.
There's a dead horse in the back, right?
There was a 3rd horse on the property, and it was dead. Yes.
What about a dog? I heard there's a dead dog in the back as well.
Not to my knowledge.
But some of these dogs were unresponsive. Is that right?
I'm sorry.
Describe the injuries to the horse.
I can't just, we're going to take the horse back to the Houston SPCA and let our veterinarians take a look at what's going on with them. I can't diagnose what exactly is going on, but his back leg is definitely painful to him.
4 of these dogs were unresponsive. Do you think that they're going to be able to be saved, or may they have to be put down because of what they have been through?
I think first we need to get a veterinarian's opinion on what their health is.
Describe them if you would.
The dogs that are coming back with us to the Houston SPCA today, many of them seemed eager to have some human attention. We saw some tails wagging. Many of them are. We've seen some eye conditions. We've seen some hair loss. We've seen a couple of them that are underweight. So again, we'll have a veterinarian take a look at them and determine the extent of what has happened here.
Were they being given any water? I mean, it's really hot out here.
I can't answer that question. I don't know.
Didn't look like they had access to it though.
They had access to bowls.
But nothing in them.
The bowls that I saw were empty.
Sorry, what were the total numbers again? 2 horses?
2 horses, 15 canine, 4 of whom are puppies.
What was the smell? Is that because of the dead horse?
I think that there's probably a combination of a lot of things going on with regards to the smell. The dead horse certainly did contribute to that.